Hi there, I'm Michelle Hayes, owner and photographer of Michelle Hayes Studio. I work with the everyday woman to make her feel beautiful in everyday life through a boudoir session, and also I work with entrepreneurs to get them some really amazing pictures for their brand. So I'm going to talk to you about photography today, and obviously as a professional photographer, I believe that good photography plays a really important role in the message of your brand. We live in a super visual society. We're bombarded with images all the time, and if you have a business that's online on in any sense of the word, images are super important. Your content, your message is really important, but people are scrolling at such a fast rate these days that you're gonna want to have an image that's interesting or compelling to make them wanna stop and read your content. So I believe that the two go hand in hand. You're gonna wanna have an interesting, compelling image and really great content to get them hooked in and build connection. So I'm going to give you a few tips to help you out, to give you your photos a little bit of a boost. I know not everyone can afford to hire a professional photographer to get those images. So I just want to give you a few tips that are going to really maybe be a little bit of a game changer for you and your brand. So a good image can position you as an expert and give you credibility. And on the flip side, a bad image can really devalue your brand and tune people out. Like I said, people are scrolling at a super rapid rate. So if they're like, oh, what's that? That's not a really good picture. I'm confused. They're going to keep scrolling. So here's a few tips that I'm going to give you to get people to stop and take notice of your pictures. First of all, make sure that they are properly lit. This is so important. You're gonna want to use natural light if possible. If you don't have any natural light, if you don't have a great space, then invest in some lighting. Like a ring light is super cheap these days. I also have this little portable LED. You can get this on Amazon, and it mimics natural light. So there really isn't any excuse to get some properly lit images. You're just gonna wanna go by the open window, and right now today is overcast, so that's actually really good. That's nature's filter. But you're gonna wanna put up a sheer if it's really harsh light coming in, and it'll diffuse the light. So number one, just make sure that the image is properly lit. There's nothing worse than a poorly lit image, in my opinion. The next is to declutter your image. So if you're taking a selfie, make sure you're gonna check around behind you. Make sure that there isn't anything distracting behind you because like I said, you want to have really interesting, compelling images. And if there's something in the background that people are like, what's going on behind this person? It's gonna take away from what you're trying to say. So just make sure you've removed any distractions. This also counts for if you're taking a picture of a product. Make sure that you've removed everything around it that it's going to interfere in what you're trying to say with this image. So declutter is super important. The next tip is to be consistent across all platforms. And this has to do with your colors, your fonts, the mood. Susanna's a great example. She's so consistent with her colors and her mood, her beachy, bright theme. For her to throw in a black and white moody picture would be definitely off-brand, and not that it's wrong, but people would be a little bit confused. So by being consistent, you're allowing the client to build brand recognition with you, and that is super important because not everyone is going to buy from you the very first time they see you. It takes a while. You've heard this, that it takes like 7 or 8 times for a person to see you or hear you and take notice and be like, what's going on here? So if it's consistent across all platforms, and that includes your email signature, your email newsletter, anything related to social media, your website, just be consistent. So the next tip is to have a range of what you're posting. And what I mean is that you're gonna wanna mix it up. So you're gonna wanna have some professional images, you're gonna wanna have some selfies, you're also gonna wanna have some really interesting graphics that you can make for free on canva.com. It's such an easy tool. You can use it on your phone or your desktop. I use it all the time. If I don't wanna create something in Photoshop, you can go on there, choose colors and fonts that are of your brand, and make a really interesting graphic of what you're gonna say. So instead of posting all, content, all words, you can just highlight what you want to say, post it on this like really interesting visual, and then write out the rest of the content in your post. So again, that's canva.com, and it's super easy to get started. It really is, and it's free. The next thing I'm gonna say is, if you do not have time for all of this, or you're just like, there's no way I'm gonna do that, hire a professional. There are so many photographers out there, like you can throw a rock and hit a photographer in your town, guaranteed. And it really is gonna save you some time. A professional photographer, if you search for a personal branding photographer, or someone that is willing to do personal branding photography, you can spend one day with them and get content for a whole month. Guaranteed, you can get like 20 or 30 images, and you're gonna have a library of content that you can post on all platforms and all on your website, on your blog, on your newsletter, and it's gonna just be right there for you to pull and schedule and post. It's that easy. So really, it's an investment. And I know if you're just starting out, you're like, there's no way I can hire a photographer, but just think about it as an investment. And the other thing I'm gonna say about having a personal branding session, and a few of my clients have actually said this to me, is that when they have this session and they're in there doing the session and feeling confident and amazing, and they're just like, this is what I want to do, they're feeling so good about themselves, it really kind of like pulls them into another level, that they're just like, this is where I need to be. So it's a really empowering session. I really think that everyone should experience it at some point in their career. You're really going to need to have some professional images, but I would really look into it and see if that's something that can help you elevate your brand. So I'm actually part of a few photography groups and one personal branding photography group. So if you need some help looking for a photographer in your area, just let me know. I'd be happy to help you find one. If you have any questions about what I said, I know this is just kind of scratching the surface. Branding is huge, and there's a lot in photography as well. But if you just do these tips, I guarantee that your images will just get a little bit of a boost and you'll attract your ideal client. So thank you so much, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye-bye.